Hey everybody, welcome to So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I am Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
So Many Scares is here. We are at Camp Crystal Lake Research Facility. Ready to give our full, honest, in-depth, and analytical
Analysis,
reviews of Jason X,
Jason
the
X.
10th film in the Friday the 13th series.
Yeah.
As you know, we're doing so many scares versus Jason this month. So we've been hitting up Friday the 13th. We already covered that a couple months back for what month was that for? Camp month. We
camp,
went back
yes,
to summer
yes.
camp month.
That's
So
correct.
this month we continued with Friday the 13th Part 2. Then we jumped to Jason Lives Part 6. And now here we are at Part 10, Jason X. Jason goes to space because why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he do that? If you haven't subscribed to the show yet, go ahead and do that on our YouTube channel, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts. Leave a rating and review. That helps us out a lot. And we love to hear from you guys anyway. If you leave a review, or if you leave a comment on Spotify or on our YouTube.
We would love to hear your comments
Yes.
about Jason X specifically. So please
Yes.
engage with us in the comments so we can all have a full-on conversation about how wonderful this movie is.
Yes, every time somebody comments on a YouTube video about the movie, it's a blast. You guys usually have some kind of fun angle we never even thought about looking at. So go do that. Comment. That's the whole point of a movie club. That's
Exactly.
we keep. I don't know. Book clubs just goes together. Movie
Yeah.
club should also just work.
It should.
It should work. But for some reason, when
It
I think
doesn't.
of movie club, I think of back in the day when you would you get those things in the mail and it was like, for a penny you can get 10 CDs a month from Columbia House.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's what I think of a DVD.
You know, if you could trust people to be good, a fun little library but with movies would be good, but it'd just be filled with porn by the end of the day.
I was gonna say I've seen that done. I have not seen any here, but I've seen online people have created a free Blockbuster, and it's like there's a website and there's like a template you can download so you can actually they paint the boxes to look like a little Blockbuster themed thing.
Nice.
So I have not heard it being filled with porn, but
Well, that's good.
we don't have any here that I know about. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that would be a good idea. I love the idea of a little free library for movies. So today we're talking about Jason X. Let's get into it. Nowhere to go start but the beginning. Let's go through this Letterboxd synopsis premise.
Yeah.
In the
Buckle up.
year 2455, Old Earth is now a contaminated planet abandoned for centuries, a brown world of violent storms, toxic land masses, and poisonous seas. Yet, which is cool. That sounds cooler than what we got. Yet, humans have returned to the deadly place that they once fled, not to live, but to research the ancient, rusting artifacts of long-gone civilizations. But it's not the harmful environment that could prove fatal to the intrepid young explorers who have just landed on Old Earth. For them, it's Friday the 13th, and Jason lives. Bum, bum, bum.
Wow. That was way too long. That's
I know,
way
it
too
was
long.
really wordy.
Yeah.
But that just shows you why this movie shouldn't exist. It needs
They
all
have to
that
add a lot of
just to
context.
say that was an awful lot of context to say it's another Friday the 13th movie.
Yes, but in no way like I don't know. It's not connected. It's a totally new idea in many
Right.
ways.
Yeah.
So Jason X came out in 2001. How did it do at the box office,
Oh.
David?
Well, so this is it's a bit of a misnomer. 2002 is when it would actually release here in the
Oh.
United States, but at least in Spain, yes, earlier in 2001. Actual release date here for the U.S. was April 26th of 2028. It debuted in the number 3 spot. It was 6.6 million. The number 1 spot that weekend was The Scorpion King, starring our favorite Dwayne Johnson, who was in its second week. The film Changing Lanes with Ben Affleck and Samuel L. Jackson was in its third week at number 2 with 9 million. Murder by the Numbers was at number 4 with 6.3, and then Life or Something Like It was in the number 5 spot with 6.2 million. Jason X is, by all metrics, the worst performing of the Jason films. It only made $13.1 million in its U.S. run. According to reports, about $3.9 million overseas for a worldwide total of $16.9 to just at $17 million for its worldwide total. That is not great for most movies, and then you compare it to the fact that it had a $14 million budget, the most expensive Jason movie to date at that point. Now it would be unseated from that
It was on
particular.
all that tinfoil.
It was that holodeck animation that really got him. So you had this for $14 million. This was the most expensive by quite a margin. It would be beaten out by Freddy vs. Jason and Friday the 13th reboot in terms of that honor. But compared to all of those, this is the only one that failed to really meet its own budget. The success of the Jason franchise and the Friday the 13th franchise was that they were made for dirt cheap and then made triple their budgets usually. This was the first one to, if you look at just the U.S. numbers, not even make back its budget. You look at the worldwide numbers, it barely scraped over. So, pretty disappointing. Although, as we kind of will talk about here in a minute, I don't think they really cared how successful it was. They just wanted to get a movie out. It would end up being the number 135 movie of 2002, way down the list. The number 1 movie of 2002, you guys will probably remember fondly. It is Spider-Man, followed by The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Star Wars, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and then My Big Fat Greek Wedding at number 5. So it's not even like you could say there was sequel fatigue, because the sequels are at the top of the thing up there. Jason, though, at a 10th movie in a franchise, that's just a tough ask for anybody as a 10th movie in a franchise.
Yeah.
So in looking at the year 2002, there were a lot of other horror movies to offer. There was 28 Days Later, Signs, The Ring, the original Resident Evil that came out that year, Cabin Fever. There was a Halloween film, interestingly, that came out that year as well. Which Halloween was this? Halloween
H2O.
Resurrection in 2002. And then, among other things, Blade came out that year. And another movie we reviewed from 2002, Red Dragon, the Silence of the Lambs sequel. A couple other movies we've reviewed from 2002 include Men in Black 2, Star Trek Nemesis, 1 Hour Photo, and then we also reviewed 8 Crazy Nights most recently the other year. So that's your 2002 wrap-up and look at Jason X, I should say. Not a great performance.
Wow. Well, Garrett, you're going to have to be the one to talk about your, I guess, history with this movie, because I have no recollection of it beyond it existing. I don't think I ever saw it.
Me either.
So yes, this is not the first time that I have seen Jason X. This was my suggestion because I knew how dumb it was, because this is the one that I had seen the most growing up, honestly. I had, growing up, we had digital cable and whatnot, so I had a TV in my room. It was on Stars or something like that. You go through the guide, and there was just Jason X. I was like, oh, what's this? Boom. One of the dumbest things I'd ever seen, but one of the most crazy, ridiculous things that I had also ever seen. And in the franchise that we have, I figured I would subject you to some of the worst ones as we go through this. So I was looking forward to it. I haven't probably seen it since I was like an early teenager, so 15-ish years, probably longer. I'm not sure, but at least somewhere in there. And man, the memories that I told you was about the sleeping bag kill.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. I was like, where is it? I swear to
It was
God.
like,
The
what
very
happened?
end.
Yeah, I know. I was
seen
stunned.
that GIF
It took so
before
long.
too. I was like, when does this happen?
So I was just really excited to see this as an adult and talk about it with you guys.
Yeah, for real. This is one thing I like is that this exists in. Surely someone has named this already, but it exists in a new subgenre, almost a movie that is set in the future of the movie's present, but it is in our past because it opens in what is it, like 2008 or 2010? Somewhere around there
Yeah.
is where it
Yeah.
opens.
That's what the
So-
opening sequences are in, like 2008, 2010,
It's a
sometime
futuristic
like that.
opening when the movie came out, but it's the
Yeah.
past for us, and I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it
And
when
then there's
when we're like, oh, the future of 2010 when
Yeah.
they finally captured Jason.
And there's even a casual reference to jump ahead a little bit, but there's a casual when they find frozen Jason. They're like, "What is he wearing?" They're like, a hockey mask. Hockey that was outlawed in 2024, and I just love the idea that anything would be outlawed in 2024.
Yeah, let alone
In the
something
year of our
violent
ye-
like hockey.
Yeah. Year of our Lord 2025, as we record this. Year of our Lord Jason Voorhees, by the way. As we record this, we can confirm that hockey is still in existence.
Still very
legal.
much a thing and popular. Still very much
A
thing.
resurgence, one might say.
Yeah. So yeah, that kind of gets us here. I was like, I had no idea what the movie was gonna be. So my whole thing was like, how are they even gonna set this up? Because I know it's the future, and I hate it immediately. I'm like, what do you mean they? So they don't explain it very well. They kind of rush through it. I felt like. But basically, the explanation is they catch him and they decide that they want to study him to find out how he has self-healing powers. And so they just cryogenically freeze him forever until they can figure it out. And
More
then
or less.
he escapes. We get a brief moment of him escaping in 2010, which I guess only happens so that one of the girls can get accidentally frozen with him. So this Rowan character gets frozen in the cryospace too. And then we get to the real setting of the movie, 2455, on some spaceship
Yeah.
that looks like... I kept trying to think of it when I was watching the movie, and it really does look like the Power Rangers in Space series, if you guys ever watched. I don't know if you still were watching Power Rangers when they went to space, but it reminded me of this.
It reminded me a lot of Silverstone's lair from the famous Jet Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, there's
That's
a
a
shout
good
for
one.
you.
They're like a research vessel, but it's like on a field trip still because they're still
Yeah,
teenagers.
they're still
wearing
students.
wearing 2000s teenage clothes
Yeah.
on the spaceship.
To
So,
sort of,
how are you? How are you guys sold on that opening?
it's a complete break from where we were. Like,
Right. To add some context, Josh has not watched any of the movies between.
Yes, I
he's going-
forgot. You guys need to add a little bit of context because you
Yeah.
have been watching everything,
Right.
even with stuff we're not covering, and I am not.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
for the
The
experience
last-
sake. So hit
The last
Been a fascinating
the last movie that we watched was Jason Lives, which was the end of the Tommy Jarvis
yes,
trilogy, right? So that kind of wrapped things up. Josh had no idea who Tommy Jarvis was, but Jason, you can go back and listen to the review of that. So the next one that we get into after Jason Lives is what, part 7?
yeah, part 7, The New Blood.
The New Blood. And this one is, David, you said earlier, essentially Jason meets Carrie.
Jason versus Carrie. That was the premise that sparked the whole script writing process.
like a fire girl.
It's a girl who has telekinetic
Telekinetic.
and telepathic maybe powers, and she's struggling with it because she doesn't really know how to control it at the beginning. She has an abusive stepfather who's trying to study her, and she killed her dad at the beginning of the movie by accident. Sort of, she kind of wanted to, but she wanted to in the way that like all 5-year-olds want to kill their father.
Right. I
You
wish
know.
you were dead.
She was just like, "I wish you were dead," and then he dies.
Well, that's
but
just bad luck, right?
No, well, no, not the way it happened.
Oh.
then, using her powers, she thinks maybe I can resurrect my father.
Yeah.
So she looks out into Camp Crystal Lake where he died, and she focuses on resurrecting something. But does she
Yeah.
resurrect her father? No.
She
Where did we
doesn't,
leave
no.
Jason at the end of 6? We left him in the
Right.
lake. So he
Yeah, in that same lake.
emerges, goes
does
on a
that.
killing spree. Then there's this epic, like once she kind of gets control of her powers, she's fighting him. She's throwing stuff with her mind. It's honestly the only thing about the movie that's worth remembering.
It was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
I got
That
nothing to
movie-
say other than I did not like that one.
Now, let's talk. Now, Gary, you talk us through Jason Takes Manhattan from the
Oh,
Muppets.
man. Now listen, Jason Takes Manhattan and the Muppets was indeed a master class in Jason. This is the part 8 in 1989. This is the 8th movie in 9
Donald
years
Trump
for
in this
this
one?
franchise.
No,
No.
that would have worked.
Does he meet Donald Trump in the hotel lobby? You tell him where the
That
You
would've been
know,
hilarious.
actually, the actor who plays Jason kind of looked like him, just because of the. You have to see.
the hair.
But this one basically just knows it's camp, right? It has no general seriousness whatsoever. Like, it's not taking itself seriously. It knows it's cheesy. It knows it's a joke. And it made me laugh, genuinely, several different times. Jason boards a boat with a bunch of graduating senior class of Camp Crystal Lakers, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're on their way to New York to celebrate. And Jason just gets on the boat, starts killing people. And he kills several people on the boat. It takes a little while to get to New York, but once they get to New York, he gets off. And for the first time in the Jason franchise, like, the most intentional joke that I can remember them doing is Jason getting off the boat, getting onto the streets of Manhattan, and seeing a billboard that shows what? A hockey goalie wearing a mask. And then Jason turns and looks at the camera with the billboard of the hockey mask behind him, is just kind of like, and then he goes on.
There's a moment later, too, that was a very intentional bit where he walks past this group of thugs that are listening to their boombox, and he kicks their boombox in anger, and they go, "Hey, man, you jerk, what, you want some?" And he turns around, and the camera doesn't see this, but he lifts his mask up, and the guys just go, they're just like freaked out. They go, "It's cool, man, whatever you want." And they just take off running. And I love that sometimes Jason's like, "I'll kill people because they're in my way," but sometimes he's like, "I don't have time for you. I'm hunting the final girl. Get out of my way."
I have bigger people to fry than you. And
Jason is very workaday in that movie. He's very much going about his business. He seems almost bored at times by having to kill so many people. But there's also weird thing going on there where there's a girl in that movie who keeps having hallucinations about Jason. So that's
that was a weird connection that I just don't even care about. It was dumb. It didn't make any sense. But the other memorable part of that one is Jason punches the head off of a teenager off of a skyscraper building, and that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, this kid is like a boxing champion, so he boxes Jason, and he's just walloping him. Jason's just rope-a-doping him, just taking it. And then the guy exhausts himself, his knuckles are all bloody, and Jason just says, "All right, let's just be done with this."
It flies off into the streets.
Because that movie was actually, I think to that point, the worst performing at the time.
Does he ever kill a rat?
No, but he does drown a man in a bucket of water that has sewer rats in it. So there are sewer rats.
There
I
you
will
are.
take
There
that.
are rats.
I will take that.
Yes, okay, I double-checked that. To this point, that had been the worst performing. So Paramount was kind of done-ish with this. And New Line
Thank God.
Cinema, where the original director, Sean Cunningham, was working at New Line Cinema, and he wanted Jason. He wanted it. Because he wanted to make a Freddy versus Jason movie. So, this is kind of funny, but Paramount sold him the rights to the character Jason. So he was like, awesome. He could not convince New Line Cinema to just roll right into a Freddy vs. Jason movie. And so they made Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. The interesting thing here is that Paramount sold him the rights to Jason, but did not sell him the rights to the film title, Friday the 13th, so they couldn't call Jason Goes to Hell or Jason X Friday the 13th. They had to leave that part out. So Jason Goes to Hell completely establishes a completely new sort of continuity, because in Manhattan, Jason gets melted. Like, not even like killed or submerged or drowned. He gets melted by toxic wastewater into nothingness. He dissolves into nothing. So he's just back at the beginning of Goes to Hell, just totally fine, just back and doing it.
All of it, all of the time that we have spent watching these 9 movies up to this part, totally out the window.
Yes.
None of it matters. All the lore's gone. Baby, strap up. This is gonna get dumb.
The Friday might be one of the final Friday might be one of the worst and one of the weirdest, because there's just so many things they bring in. Jason is no longer like a zombie. He's like a body snatcher demon that moves from body to body. Like every good movie, it features a magic dagger.
Jason has a sister now.
He has a sister?
That is the only way that Jason can die, is that his sister or a blood relative has to kill his heart.
He's being hunted by a cool bounty hunter who knows all the Jason lore, and is able to fill us in on it. So yeah, it is a weird movie. Me and Garrett had a pretty fun text exchange while we were watching, or at least while I was watching that one.
Yeah.
So
it was
then,
weird.
The end of that movie, though, if you ever want to watch it, Josh, but the end of that movie features them killing Jason, him going to hell, his mask in the dirt. And as we zoom in on the mask, you're thinking to yourself, Jason's going to wake up? No, what bursts from the ground? A clawed hand of Freddy, who grabs the mask and drags it down.
Oh, it's
This
Freddy's
is in
hand?
1993.
Freddy's
This
hand.
is in 1993.
In 1993, they teased
How would I know it's
Freddy
Freddy's
versus
hand?
Jason. Huh?
Oh, you know.
I know.
Because it's got the claws all over it. And
got the claws.
It's got the sweater. You know? It's unmistakable as Freddy's hand.
It's Freddy.
So they teased Freddy versus Jason a whole 10 years before they managed to make that happen. The development of Freddy versus Jason was so plagued that New Line Cinema or whoever, they just made the decision, we got to get a Jason movie out the door because people are going to forget about the character. So they made Jason X. And what I've just read is they made Jason X and finished it in 2000, but the head of Paramount left, who was the only person who was supportive of a Jason movie.
Same.
So they didn't release it for 2 years.
And they may have not should have done that.
It was a bad
Maybe
way
not
to go.
should have done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then that brings us back to Jason X. Wow.
How are you feeling now going
Unwell.
into this movie totally blind? Well, it's going into it without that knowledge, just jumping into Jason X. And you said you hated it already at the start.
Yeah, because of the whole 2455 thing. It's just
Yeah.
too ridiculously futuristic for me. But also just knowing that I don't know if any of that, anything you just told me matters, because
It doesn't.
he's a cryogenically frozen Jason from 2010.
Yeah, and
So
like
he obviously isn't from hell.
no, it's not
No,
even.
none-
Yeah,
It doesn't connect. It has nothing to do with anything. It's
Yeah.
just here's Jason in
Well, then you want to
outer
know how I
space.
feel? Annoyed. I'm a little annoyed, to be frank.
Yeah, there's
I'm
nothing
a
you
little
could have
annoyed that
done.
You guys just told me all that, and it didn't
Well,
matter.
and like here's the crazy part is like we did all that watching for nothing because it doesn't
Yeah,
because like
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't really matter. You could go in blind and Jason X is going to be the exact same thing.
No.
Other than knowing that Jason comes from Camp Crystal Lake, that's the only piece of lore. I think they
Yeah.
still mention Pamela Voorhees.
Maybe.
Wow.
But this
They
movie
talk
came-
about how he killed like over 200 people and stuff, so they know who he is. He's got some kind of background, but it really is just really stupid.
So then we launch into this. They bring the main character, Dr. Rowan, back to life because she was cryogenically frozen. So they bring her back to life.
An accident.
They don't think that Freddy's going to come back to life, even though they're dethawing
Jason.
him. But you know what happens? Inevitably, kids start getting horny, and we all know that horniness wakes up Jason. So, of course,
Every time.
he was not moving for the whole first chunk of the movie. And then all of a sudden, the hands start twitching. He can sense it. He can sense kids getting it on.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Can we talk about how he wasn't? I just don't believe there's a world, even in 2010, even in the past future 2010, where they would just like cryogenically freeze his body in such terrible condition. What do you mean they didn't clean him up? They didn't
No.
put him in new clothes. They didn't do. They just
They
left him
couldn't do
dirty
that
and
to
nasty.
Jason. They
I
were
don't
like,
believe that.
what Dr. Rowan says is that they tried multiple ways to execute him, but he kept coming back to life. So they decided that they can't kill him; they'll just freeze him.
They popped that mask off in there, and she's like, "Poor baby," or something like that.
Yeah, he looked hideous.
No, not poor baby.
Which he has looked hideous in all of them. Every time
He
the
has.
mask comes off, he looks gross. And
Yeah, one
different.
thing that I also very much enjoyed about Jason versus Manhattan, because I'd rather talk about that than this. Every time that Jason showed up, he squelched because he's so just drowned and welt and like just full of water that every time they showed him walking, he squelched, and it made me chuckle. He didn't squelch in
He
this
did
one.
squelch a lot. So naturally, like you said, the horny vibes of the teenagers awaken Jason
Yes.
from his cryogenic slumber, and he starts killing. Um, I did enjoy that, and I kind of remember seeing this after it happened in the movie. I was like, yeah, I've seen that scene before. He takes what's her name's head and freezes it in
Mm.
liquid nitrogen,
Like, yeah.
smashes
Yeah.
it. That's a cool kill.
That's a good
So now,
That
while
had me
Jason,
excited for a little while.
I know because it was a cool kill. So Jason has been set loose. Meanwhile, the professor leading the field trip, he's like, "Wait a minute,
Mhm.
I can make money off this because that's what any person with a brain would do was consider how to make money off this." You're
Yeah.
already in a spaceship. I digress. um, so he wants
Sounds
to
okay.
capture Jason and sell him, whatever.
Yeah, to the highest bidder for some reason.
Yes. Double, meanwhile, I have to talk about how this one of these characters is arguably a sex robot.
Yes. Even though they continue to say no, idiots there. They get there.
Hey, I don't know. I think she was a helpful bot. I think that guy did have, some feelings for the robot, but I don't think that was her intent. I think she was there to help the ship. And then I think that she just wanted to be a human. I think she was feeling, I want to be a human. Oh, I look like a human, but I'm not. She had that empathy.
She definitely had more better functioning emotions chip than Commander Data, who
Yes.
she was expressing all kinds of feelings. And I mean, it's just a collection of odd, like, I don't know.
It's basically like if they took the generic idea of Star Trek and all of these characters, you got a robot person, you got a captain, you got horny teens, they're just in space instead of a camp, a space camp.
Yeah.
And then you put Jason there. That's essentially just what this is. You could see
And-
a spin-off of Star Trek
Yes.
doing this episode.
But this robot lady, the scene that I laughed at the most because I cringed the hardest was when her nipples fell off.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot
And
about
I'm
that.
so-
part.
and
magnet
then
nipples.
they take us through this stupid scene where I'm supposed to believe the robot woman wanted the boobs.
Yeah.
Right.
Then it
She
didn't,
wanted to be normal.
not the inventor. He didn't want to put them on her.
Yeah.
He wanted the boobs to look like the other boobed women.
Yeah.
Get out of here, 2000.
It is.
You had a lot
know,
of not people. Like, the star of this person was, a not
Oh,
Olivia
nobody
Munn.
famous
Looked
is-
like a not Olivia Munn. You had not Polly Shore get his
Yeah.
arm chopped off by the frozen Jason,
Yeah.
You had a whole bunch of people who look like people but aren't actually people, kind of
Yeah.
in places like that.
No, the most recognizable person in this is a guy who plays the security team lead, Sergeant Brodsky, who I really only know because he's the guy who gets kicked into the hole in 300. He's the guy who goes, "This is madness," and then he gets kicked in the hole. This is Sparta. That's the only real reason I know that guy. I may have seen him in some other things, but that's the main one. And he's like the only guy I'm really rooting for in this whole movie. Like, I don't know
Right.
why I just decided I like that guy, but over
He's
the
got a
course
moral
of the-
code. He's trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, over the course of the movie, like, just one by one, same old, very low tension. Jason's just killing people in sometimes creative and most times uncreative ways.
Most of the
And-
time uncreative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
You know-
slowly and just boringly.
yeah,
I feel like this franchise has a reputation of creative kills, and I really don't think that's true. I think there are a few that stand out, but man, again, at this point in time, this movie, you shouldn't be taking this seriously. You got to lean into the camp. And so you've really, like, the
Yeah.
cryo freeze kill, that's funny. That's creative. You have the virtual reality camp simulation, that's not. Like, it just puts him back in the same thing, and he's just killing,
Oh yeah, we're almost to
non-existent
that
NPC
level.
characters or stuff. So it's just, it really is disappointing because I feel
Yeah.
like the reputation is creative kills, and it's not. It's a lot of stabbing,
No,
a lot of
I-
machetes, and a lot of spears.
I feel like the franchise has a reputation for creative kills, and the writers never knew it. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they never knew
Well-
they had that reputation to uphold.
There's like one creative kill per movie,
Give
Yeah.
or
and
take,
most of the
and
rest
it
of it's
kind
like
is
it's
enough
like
to
just
sustain it.
machetes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, There are times where I can get behind the idea of like enjoying the camp or enjoying like the absurdity of it. This just whatever reason I couldn't get into that mindset very well. It was just it felt like a TV movie in a lot of ways. I can't believe that this had such a high budget because it felt so low budget just looking at it.
Yeah.
Acting was Sci-Fi Channel level actors. And even the big fight sequences were not anything special. And I gotta say, the design for I guess here in the notes I'm seeing, he's known as Uber Jason. I was calling him Cyber Jason. It was just awful looking. I couldn't believe how bad the design was for that Jason.
Atrocious. And this is where I really started to feel Power Rangery. So. The fembot gets in a fight with Jason and kicks his ass, basically. Like literally kills him, cuts his head off. They're like, hell yeah, we did it. Cool. Fight choreography was just awful. I really felt like it was Power Rangers. And then the ship makes him cooler for some reason.
Yeah, they had
the nanotechnology. He gets assimilated by the ships, whatever. And it turns him into Uber Jason. And then he looks like Lord Zed.
He does look like Lord Zed.
So that's why I'm talking about. This is just some Power Rangers bullshit.
My favorite...
He looked terrible.
My favorite moment was watching this with my wife. So the thing is, with Jason, you keep having to ask yourself, like, what could possibly kill this thing? Because it just keeps coming. And he was dead. He was dead to rights. They introduced the idea of these nanobots earlier in the movie being able to heal people. So they get activated. Of course they do. And they heal Jason. But we were just kind of like, my wife was like, I think you just got to blow him out into space. And I was like, yeah, I feel like that's the only way around this. And then, I mean, I know we're really kind of rushing through the plot here at this point, but they get to the...
What plot?
They get to the end where they're going to blow this ship up and get off of it with this, these people who've come to rescue them. They get off. They blow the ship up. And they go, that's it. No, wait, he's still coming. And Jason... after the ship's explosion, is flying through space, basically, right at them. And my wife, literally 1 second before the character did, she said, you gotta be kidding. And then the character said, you gotta be kidding me. And I was like, you're her. You're in the moment. You relate. And luckily, he gets tackled by the guy who they left on the ship who also survived the explosion, who took him into Earth's atmosphere. Earth 2's atmosphere, excuse me.
Right,
where,
they do this whole this simulation to trick Jason for some reason.
To slow him down.
It's really... it really didn't... they just needed it to be a camp, and they realized... This is what happened. They got to the end of the movie and realized they set the whole damn movie in space, and they never had a summer camp. And they were like, we have to put him in a summer camp. That's what happened.
I think that's honestly... I feel like the whole idea for the movie almost builds to that. They were like, well, we'll put it on like a ship, and then someone says, what if there's a holodeck where we could make it Camp Crystal Lake? And someone went... Oh, jeez. Yeah, okay, a holodeck. But does Star Trek own that? Yeah, I think they do. Okay, well, it's not a holodeck. It's just a video game virtual reality thing. Got it. That is, to me, probably the only point where I thought it was kind of funny. I knew about it. I'd seen, like, GIFs of it. I've seen people post the video.
It was the only part that I think was kind of funny and got a real laugh out of me because... they put him in there, and then he rolls up to those two campers, and they're like, we love premarital sex in unison, and take off their clothes, and, like, that's funny. I do think the sleeping bag beatdown was maybe oversold to me. It could have been better.
I agree.
I had never noticed. I had never
down.
noticed that they're laughing, like the teens are still laughing while he's doing it. So that's part of what's infuriating him so much. It's like, they're not dead. Why would they die? Yeah. But that's the only thing you can...
around that tree. That part did make me laugh.
And it's kind of funny. We actually had a precursor to that in one of the Jason movies. Someone was sleeping in a tent, and he took it, threw it against a tree like that. So I was surprised that there was a sort of previous version of that. But yeah, I mean, this was a movie that was made out of obligation at the end of the day. So,
not all obligations need to be met.
sometimes, well, sometimes that means that like the movie doesn't have, there's no expectation, so you can go into it if you're a 13, 14-year-old kid and you're looking for something to do on a Saturday and it's just silly and you haven't wasted any money on it. You know what I mean? You end up liking it.
That's why I like this movie. That's exactly why I like this movie.
And then, there's also just, this movie for me, I guess I'm pivoting into review at this point, but this movie for me is not very good. I mean, it's not a good horror movie or a good sci-fi movie. And it's poorly acted and the dialogue's bad. So like it kind of fails everywhere it could potentially succeed. There is something about it though that does, I don't know, just the idea of it, I guess. Just saying Jason X. I think the movie, just the title of it has something going for it. But it just looks bad. It looks cheap. So I don't know. I don't think I can give it a very high score. It might be the worst one I've seen. I think I'm gonna give it a 1.5, which is what I gave Jason Goes to Hell. I'm gonna give it there because it's not very good. But if I was hanging out with Garrett maybe and we were watching this movie together, I could probably have a lot of fun and get some entertainment value out of it like that. So I'll put it there.
I will say that despite my glowing review of this movie, I'm aware that it's not, and I'm aware that it's because exactly why I like this movie is exactly what David said. I saw it when I was like 13 or 14, and I was like, oh, this is dumb and silly. This is bad. And I will say, having watched all of these movies up until this one now, I prefer stupid Jason. I much prefer stupid Jason than try to make Jason scary. You can't at this point in time. So lean into the stupid. I will give this one also a 1.5, which again for me is my not good but entertaining spot. Is this movie's not good, but I find much entertainment with it, whether it's to rag on or for nostalgic purposes. But this one falls in the 1.5 for me.
And I did not like this movie much at all. There were parts that were easy to laugh at, I guess, but I don't think I was supposed to. I am naughty. I am not loving it. I'm vamping while I think. It's a 1 for me.
Okay.
That on my scale is just bad. So I'm gonna call it bad. It's 1 star. I don't have it. No, it's bad. It's just bad. It fails on every level, and I don't even think it's good at being bad, like stupid Jason. I think it goes too far stupid.
I agree. Well, you got to watch.
I'm actually very interested in Takes Manhattan.
You should watch it.
I think I need to watch that one because I enjoyed the stupidness of, and we all enjoyed the stupidness of Jason Lives because they finally embraced. They were like, "Yeah, let's just have lightning strike him. This is stupid." But this one is several leaps too far for me. So 1 star.
The fun thing, I'm really fascinated now to see the reboot because people, at the time that reboot came out, didn't really like it. But having seen what came before, it can't be that bad. I'm fascinated to see.
It's just kind of the same.
Garrett and I talked off mic last week about the movies, and I have enjoyed educating, for lack of a better word, myself on the Jason lore. I would like it more if the range was like 2.5 to 4 stars in terms of the quality of these movies, but unfortunately the range is like 1 to 3.
Yeah.
And maybe 3.5.
It's rough.
Excuse me. So let's Letterboxd game this up.
Let's do it. I've got some of the most popular reviews here of Jason X. First one, no stars, but the further you get in this series, the more the films play as soundtracks to your house cleaning. And I just thought that was funny.
That's true. Very true.
2.5 stars, trash, but my kind of trash.
Yes.
2 stars, X, gonna give it to you. 5 stars, in space, no one can hear you fuck. And that's in all caps. 4 stars. If you can't tell that Jason will eventually become a super space robot at the beginning of the franchise, then you're a loser because I totally saw it coming. Half star. Jokes on the writers thinking every teenager in 400 years would be heterosexual.
Yeah.
And then finally, 2 stars. Definitely not the Malcolm X sequel I expected.
Yeah.
This person calls it Monday the 13th.
Damn.
I don't know. That's funny, but I don't know why.
Well, probably because that movie has a case of the Mondays is how I'm taking it.
Okay.
All right. What do we guess?
Yeah,
All right, Josh, you are still up first.
I'm still at first? Okay.
Yes,
Then,
you are down 4.
I know that there were a few in there that were high ranking. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think those were just funny reviews. Plus, we already know we've reviewed the highest reviewed one, which was somewhere in the lower 3s, if I remember.
Yeah.
This one's got to suck hard ass. So I'm going to go down to like 2.1.
Oh, man, that's where I want to be. Garrett, I won last week, so I'll give you the privilege of going this week. We're tied.
Yeah. I am gonna go with 2.2.
2.2.
I will take the plunge and say it's like a
Yeah.
1.9.
Oh,
I'll take
that
the
would be fun
plunge down.
if it goes down to the ones.
I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, let's see. Ooh, baby, we have a direct hit this week. We did not last week. And it is a 2.2.
Oh.
This is Garrett's.
Hey!
Oh, no.
Of course. This isn't the movie. This is
It's your
my
movie.
Jason movie.
You
I
nailed
know
it.
it.
2.2.
2.2.
Excellent.
143 people put this in their top 4.
Favorites. There you go.
It's gotta be ironic.
Yeah, wow. Jason X, I am annoyed that I needed to rent the movie. That's annoying. They couldn't put that on Peacock or whatever.
No.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week. We will be back next week with more Friday the 13th. This time we will be going to that reboot we've been talking about. I'm excited
Stupendous.
for it. I am. I'm excited for it.
I think it will be very interesting.
I think it will be too. I'm not excited because I think it'll be good. Let me say that. But I think it'll be fun. So go check that out. Watch it. We'll be talking about it next week on the show. We want to hear from you what you think about Friday the 13th. Let us know on our Instagram,
Jason X.
on our threads, on our Facebook. Just search So Many Sequels. We've got all those. You can go to somanysequels.com and find all of those links as well as our past episodes and where you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get podcasts. Yeah. Have a good Halloween. We're not out of spooky season yet, but hopefully as these are coming out, we're getting closer and closer. I'm feeling more festive with it, so more to look forward to. We'll see you guys soon.